Where they go in the Martel Aintree hurdle, and Istabraq has begun second last, and on settling down it's Karawi who takes up the early running, joined though by Collier Bay over on the far side, and they're a length to Pridwell as they come to the first of 11. Leaders jump it well, San Martino joining them out wide. They've kicked away by a couple of lengths on settling down. Istabraq back in 5th position, and Shooting Light is last. Heading now towards the second, Karawi racing on the inside of Collier Bay, who's the first to rise, in fact, out wider. Half a length away then is Pridwell, followed a length further back in the field then by San Martino as they continue their journey out of the back straight now, and behind San Martino, second last in the screen, is Istabraq with a white cap, and Shooting Light is last of all. Racing left-handed now, very sharply they turn out of the back and race across the top. A long run before they reach flight number 3, and it's Karawi out in front here for the Nigel Twiston Davis stable, represented by Earth Summit in the Grand National. Carl Llewellyn in the saddle. Karawi by a length to Collier Bay up on the outside. One length further back is Pridwell, who's tucked away on the inner. A length further back then San Martino racing on the outside of Istabraq. Istabraq carrying the J.P. McManus colours. It'll be carried by Gimme 5, Ken Whelan in the Grand National. And last is Shooting Light. Racing up the centre of the course here, getting away from that far side rail. It's been very testing ground over the 3 days. None more so than today when it's officially heavy. And it's Karawi who's in front by half a length or so to Collier Bay. 3 lengths away then is Pridwell, who's lying in 3rd position. The black cap just tucked in behind those leaders. On the left of picture, San Martino as they head over the next, followed then by Istabraq with a white cap, and the visored for the first time Shooting Light in that red visor. Richard Dunwoody is last of the 6. Heading up now towards flight number 5, and Collier Bay going on here by 2 lengths to Karawi, who's tucked away on the inside of Pridwell. They're a length then to San Martino, who's racing on the near side. Further back in the field then is Istabraq, who's under a very tight hold here from Charlie Swan, and last of all is Shooting Light as they head up towards the judge at a steady pace. Only about 6 lengths covers the field, maybe 5, and that's understandable in this ground because it's Collier Bay who just shows the way from Karawi, who gets through on the inside to join that one now. They're 2 lengths to Pridwell, who's racing in company there with San Martino and Shooting Light, and still held up at the rear of the field is Istabraq, who should be handling these conditions okay. He seems to be going quite well, even though he's held up at the back of the field. He coped with the quite atrocious conditions at Leopardstown over Christmas to win there on the bridle, and so he's not having that much trouble with these conditions so far today. Karawi on the inside of Collier Bay as they head down the back. The first one there. Leaders jump it well. Pridwell in 3rd, 2 lengths away. Istabraq, who's now starting to edge closer for Charlie Swan on the outside. That's the white cap starting to make ground very, very sharply. Getting a reminder, San Martino out wider, and further back in the field is Shooting Light, just taking closer order. Back where they started, heading to the 7th. Collier Bay on the inside, joined by Pridwell. Half a length to Istabraq, who's going well. Out wide on the course there with a white cap. Good sight of him there as they continue their journey down the back towards flight number 8. This will be 4 out. Shooting Light behind them, followed by Karawi on the right, and then San Martino. It's Pridwell who takes it up now back in the lead, or back sharing the lead, as Collier Bay. 3 parts of a length further back then is Istabraq, who's going well. 3 lengths then to Shooting Light, followed half a length away by Karawi, who's just being ridden along now as they prepare to leave the back. San Martino is just starting to lose touch as they race across the top of the track. Once again they fan wide. It's Pridwell second from the left. In the centre is Collier Bay with a white cap. On the extreme left, Istabraq. Shooting Light is going the shortest way, hard up against the inside rail, and Karawi just behind them as they make the corner now and race down towards the turn into the home straight. 3 flights left to jump. Pridwell with a noseband on the near side. Istabraq, the white cap, starting to loom up on the extreme left. In the centre, Shooting Light. Then Karawi ridden along us back in the fight. Feeling the pinch is Collier Bay, who's dropped back now last of the main group. Forget San Martino, who's tailed off. They've got 3 flights left to jump. San Martino's been pulled up. Pridwell the first to rise, 3 out from Karawi, but here's Istabraq ridden confidently on the near side, about to be produced by Charlie Swan. Then Shooting Light behind them. They come to the second last. Pridwell on the far side. wrapped the top of that, so too did Istabraq in second. They're 4 or 5 lengths then to behind them, battling on Karawi. They race up with 1 flight left to jump. He says go on. Istabraq now ranges up towards to tackle Pridwell for the lead. Now the race on in earnest as they touch down together. Istabraq on the near side, gaining the upper hand now from Pridwell. They're about 15 lengths in front of Karawi. A real slog to the line, but it's Istabraq who's sticking his neck out well on the near side. Pridwell is fighting back. Pridwell coming back at Istabraq. Pridwell on the far side, grabbing a narrow lead close home, and Pridwell has got up to win. He's pulled it out of the fire from Istabraq. In third place, Karawi, followed then by Shooting Light fourth, and some way behind them is Collier Bay. In fact, San Martino has actually continued on and has jumped a couple more flights. But the winner is number 4, Pridwell, ridden by Tony McCoy, who will be aboard Challenger de Luck in the big one, the Martel Grand National, our next race here from Aintree. Second, number 2, Istabraq, ridden by Charlie Swan, and third, number 3, Karawi, ridden by Carl Llewellyn. Fourth, number 6, Shooting Light, ridden by Richard Dunwoody, and they were followed by Collier Bay. But Pridwell and Istabraq, both by the champion flat sire Sadler's Wells. That's something to remember. But Pridwell, what a gutsy win it was. He's been a quirky character in his time, Pridwell, but today on his very best behaviour, pulling out all the stops there. Great ride by Tony McCoy. He's going to go into that Grand National chock full of confidence. The 6-to-1 winner, Pridwell, of the Martel Aintree Hurdle over 2.5 miles. There's Tony McCoy. Will he be smiling like this after the next race? So Tony McCoy landing the 232nd winner of the campaign. Let's see them down the back.
Yeah, here's a point I wanted to make, Richard. Just watching Charlie Swan in the green colours of the white cap. Look there, the horse is pulling hard, but look, when he sees a hurdle, he lets it go. You see so many jockeys still trying to hang on to them there, and horses make mistakes for doing it. A great piece of horsemanship from Charlie.
They must see an obstacle or they can't jump it. McCoy just pulling his goggles down now. Look, in second place behind Collier Bay. But when it got serious, well, Istabraq nearest to us, he's by Sadler's Wells. Pridwell's by